The Food Group has just been away from the office for 2 days. We wanted to address 3 important challenges. Firstly, to be clear about our top priorities now that DFID's new white paper has been published. Secondly, to get real added value from bringing together the 2 teams which work respectively on policy and on research relating to food and agriculture. And thirdly, we wanted to agree what needs to be done to get the best performance out of people, as individuals and as teams, by improving management and the way we work. Our stars were in alignment in every sense. We're just completing a move to the 8th floor in Palace Street, bringing the research and policy teams into physical co-location for the first time. We were joined by recently recruited senior research fellows who will bring real intellectual strength. Maggie Gill is coming to us as the Chief Scientist for Scotland, and Professor Tim Wheeler from the University of Reading. And we had several recently recruited advisors who were joining their colleagues for the first time. Now, the white paper sets out agriculture and food security as a clear development priority and calls for a doubling of efforts by the international community, particularly in Africa and South Asia. This month, the G8 committed to spending $20 billion on agriculture and food security over the next 3 years, including £1.1 billion coming from the UK. So, the priority for the Food Group is clear. We must work towards international agreement on a coordination mechanism through which this assistance will be channelled to ensure that countries which are serious about tackling hunger and have a sound plan will get the international assistance they need. And that's the agenda of establishing a global partnership for agriculture and food security. In Africa, it'll mean getting behind the country-level compacts developed through the African Union's Comprehensive African Agricultural Development Programme, CAADP. In the coming months, up to 12 African countries are expected to finalise their CAADP compacts, with buy-in not only from governments and donors, but also from the private sector and civil society stakeholders in those countries. Following the recent AU summit, at which African leaders underlined their commitment to agricultural development, the time is right to secure a new deal for smallholder farmers in Africa that could see real impact on poverty and hunger across the continent. So we will be working closely with Africa Division to support this process. There's a similar scale of challenge in South Asia, but the lack of a clear regional framework within which to work means a country-by-country approach. Support for international agricultural research, set to double over the next 5 years, is a major plank in DFID's overall response to tackling global food insecurity. So at our away days, we took stock of the current DFID portfolio of research programmes. And we recognised that a scaling up of country-level attention to the agricultural sector needs to look at how to promote the uptake and developmental impact of international research. We also spent time exploring how the global challenges are going to evolve in the coming decades and what this means in terms of new priorities for research. Climate change is an obvious example. Convergence of global fuel and food markets is another, and the challenge of feeding a global population of 9 billion by 2050. Last but not least, we discussed what we need to do to gear up for the new challenges ahead. This included a hard look at prioritisation. What existing programmes should we explicitly recognise as being of low priority if we need to free up funds and staff time? And how can we improve management and ways of working to get the best out of people as we get behind the emerging new agenda? We revisited the recent Pulse survey and its relevance to the Food Group. And as top priorities, we agreed that we need to be explicit about our strategic objectives and communicate this effectively, both within the team and to others, within and beyond DFID. At the end of the day, it is not our organograms, our logical frameworks, or our work plans that delivers results. It's our people. So I want the Food Group to be one of the best managed teams in DFID, so that everyone is giving of their best as individuals and as members of a team. I've returned to the office feeling energised and enthusiastic to get on with the job. I sense that others have equally come away with a sense of excitement and purpose. Now we need to get on with the job.